So hey ladies and gentlemen, it seems that this is happening. And you might be wondering, what is this Google Map stuff? Well, all these points that you're seeing right now, it's actually missile attacks in Israel.
So around 6:30 a.m., Israelis in southern and central Israel, including here in Tel Aviv, were awoken by sirens and a massive volley of missile fire from Gaza and into Israel. So far, there have been over 2,000 rockets fired into Israel, and as I'm speaking, this is still ongoing. Now, shortly after the first volley, there were reports of armed Hamas terrorists infiltrating Israel, and this, of course, turned out to be true.
They are literally pulling soldiers out of a tank.
And there have been many videos circulating on social media and then later on the news of armed terrorists roaming the streets of southern border communities.
Palestinian terror group has entered Israel from Gaza and are massacring civilians on the street and in their homes. Untold amount of men, women and children are being slaughtered.
Now the IDF has engaged the terrorists. It announced at one point that there were something like 21 active scenes, 21 active engagements with terrorists at different locations. The IDF has managed to neutralize many of the terrorists, but it is still ongoing as I'm speaking right now.
Terrorists roam Israel street butchering civilians they find. Make no mistake, Israel will win this war. Her survival depends on it. But if you excuse today's terrorism, shut up and Israel fights back.
And there are, of course, reports of casualties, though there is no official number as of yet. And there are also reports on Palestinian media and Palestinian social media that Israeli civilians and Israeli soldiers have been taken captive by Hamas and brought back into Gaza. Again, these are unconfirmed reports at the moment. Now, I'll add that today is Saturday. Today is a holiday here in Israel, and so this really was a surprise attack. It caught everyone off guard, and now the Israeli response. So the IDF made a very unusual statement saying that Israel should essentially prepare for war. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu made a similar statement shortly, a few moments ago, saying that Israel is at war.
אזרחי ישראל, אנחנו במלחמה, לא במבצע, לא בסבבים, במלחמה. הבוקר חמאס פתח במתקפת פתע רצחני נגד מדינת ישראל ונגד אזרחיה. אנחנו בתוך זה משעות הבוקר המוקדמות. כינסתי את ראשי מערכת הביטחון, הנחיתי קודם לטהר את היישובים מהמחבלים.
IDF Defense Minister Yoav Gallant also has agreed to call in all the reserves, so Israel is really preparing for an escalation. And in the meantime, the IDF has launched a counter operation, which it has called Iron Swords. And the Security Cabinet is set to meet today at 1 p.m. To decide how to proceed. Now, I'll also note that today is exactly 50 years and 1 day since the Yom Kippur War, a war which also took Israel by surprise, in which Arab armies invaded Israel. So this is clearly not a coincidence. And in the meantime, Hamas leader Mohammed Daif
طلع جيب السلطه المهدينه دخل على المهدينه لا على الناس ده سجده الشكر ان شاء الله على هذا النصر اللهم اتم نصرك وعزك يا رب لشعبنا وامتنا الله اكبر
went on TV in a very unusual address and also called on his Islamic brothers to join in the fighting. He called on Syria, Lebanon, Iranian-backed Hezbollah, and also Arabs in Judea and Samaria, in East Jerusalem, in Israel to join in the fighting. Now, Israeli defense officials have for months been saying that the next conflict will likely be a multi-front war. So the question really remains how this is going to develop.
Okay, let me show you the thing that bothers me the most. Celebrating on the street, parading bodies. I'm like, I don't get it. I don't usually see armies attacking civilians the way I see them attacking people right now in Israel.
תזיזו את הראשים שלכם מפה, תזיזו את הראשים. אותי לא. מאמי? מאמי, מאמי.
יא אימא'לה, כן, תראי יש להם סרטים על הראש! יא חאולילה! אמא, מה צריך להגיד שלא יפול? בשדרות, בשדרות. שלא יפול. אימא'לה, תראי כמה! יא! השם! ברכב! יא חאולילה, תראו ברכב!
State of war declared in Israel as Hamas launches multiple and combined land, sea, air attacks inside Israel proper. Palestinian terrorists invaded a festival where hundreds of Israel were camping out for some holiday. Mosques in Jerusalem are inciting war against Israel. The message being sent that you can't have the friend that is actually related to an enemy in your own country. By people that celebrate the bodies of innocent and military people, and I'm like, that's normal for your culture? And these are the people that are invading? I don't know who needs to hear this, but targeting and butchering civilians in the street is not an act of freedom fighting. It's terrorism, and they deserve everything coming their way. God bless Israel. My logic is if I agree with something, I should agree if it happens to me. And I can't agree with that. Okay, I'm a very forgetful person because I want a more beautiful utopia. I don't see that energy coming from both sides, but I think one side works way harder to prove a point. That's all I'm saying. Let me know what you guys think about this because, woo, I wonder how this will end. But I think the reaction is going to be way worse.